Yes, I really am going to sit English language GCSE on Friday with you guys. I'm sitting the AQA paper. And in this video, I'm not just going to show you what I'm going to do when I sit the exam, I'm going to give you a bonus, which is to teach you a story structure. So, at number 1, a story structure has to have 5 acts. Act 1 is the character must want something. I am your character in this story and I want 100%. I believe it's almost impossible to get 100% in the AQA exam because I think the exam is horrible. I think it's a really bad test of English. At number 2, the second act, something needs to be at stake. This is at stake. I'm doing this in public. You are going to see my mark in public when I get it in August alongside you guys. If I don't get 100%, I will be embarrassed. 2 years ago, I sat EdXL 2.0, a much more brilliant exam, a real test of English. And what did I find? I found without ever looking at a mark scheme, I only ever dropped 1 mark. And that was my own fault. I just hadn't read the second part of one question. But I was still able just to drop 1 mark because I'm an English teacher. I don't think an English teacher could do the AQA exam and score 100% unless they studied the mark scheme forever and ever, which luckily for you is what I've done. Act number 3, something has to be in the way that's going to go wrong. Well, I've already told you, I think the exam is horrible. At number 2, English markers and teachers, in my experience, tend not to want to give 100% of the marks, and also the AQA mark scheme is nonsense. 3 perfectly experienced and qualified examiners could still mark the same thing with a different mark, and AQA, guess what they would say? That is fine. So I need a method that will force all those 3 examiners to give me the mark I think it deserves, 100%. And that method I'm going to teach you in this video if you stick around. At number 4, we have to have something that appears to give the character success, but there will be a twist. There might not be success. My foolproof method is points make prizes for the reading questions. In other words, you just have to write enough explanations to get the marks. How many? 8-mark question, 8 explanations. 12-mark question, 12 explanations. 20-mark question, 20 explanations. Easy. What is an explanation, Mr. Salles? It is anything which could start with "this suggests." When I sit the exam on Friday, I will actually start every single explanation with those words, "this suggests." And I will count them, I'll underline them. So if I've got 20 "this suggests" for question 4, I know that I will deserve 20 marks. However, what if the examiner disagrees with one of my explanations? They don't think it's relevant. I will put in 1 or 2 extra for each question just to make sure. But it's my explanations that is going to get me the grade. Could you write "this implies," "this reveals," "this indicates," "this emphasizes," "this highlights"? Yeah, of course you could. But I want to make my method so simple that a student at grade 4 could still get top grades just by following it. Now, that takes us to the story question. And, if you're unlucky, the description question. So I have 2 ways of cheating that question. Do I mean literally cheating? Well, I mean preparing my answer completely in advance. It's illegal, so it's not cheating, but it isn't really proper English. That's not my fault. It's the exam that's making me do this, so why wouldn't I do the easiest thing I can to get 100%? With the description question, I have written and basically memorised 2 weather descriptions. 1 super negative, 1 super positive, and then I've done the same with 2 characters, 1 super negative, 1 super positive, and I know that I will be able to take some of those or even all of them and apply it either to the description or to the story. However, I won't need them for the story because I have prepared 3 story plots. 1 is the plot I taught everybody last year, set in the Kruger National Park with a daring rescue of a drowning elephant. It's brilliant. I will link that video at the end. There are 2 other stories. 1 will be a baby who appears to be born as part tiger. I know, it's weird, but I want to have fun in this exam. And then my 3rd potential story is I'm going to imagine the examiner marking hundreds of answers to whatever the question is. And I'm going to have fun with that poor examiner wasting their nights and days away on the kind of rubbish that some students, not you guys, are going to put down on paper. That is going to be my whole simple method. You can see it in the description, or you can buy it tomorrow, or just ignore it because I've told you the method here. If you understood what I've said, you could just fly. You know what an explanation is, you know how many to write, and you know the story you can steal because it's coming up in a moment. Act 5, the resolution. Does the character actually get what they want? Well, I'm doing everything I can. I'm teaching the whole thing tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going into a school and sitting another paper live in front of 150 students and teaching them how to do exactly what I'm going to do on Friday. I've gone out and bought myself a blue pen, which you can't use in the exam, a black refill, and a second black pen. Nothing is going to stop me except hubris and overreach. Or will the Mr. Salles method give me 100%? Check in with me on Friday. I'll tell you how I did. Good luck. See you on the other side.